In the mornings, it's quite floppy. Oh shit. Oh shit. So what you're saying is that this is not going to be cheap.
Won't be a cheap job.
Hello, welcome back to Autoalex. You join me, Nigel, my Porsche 993, and also Matt from Renworks. Matt, introduce yourself. You'll do it better than I will.
Exactly that. So I'm Matt. I own the company Renworks, and we specialise in Porsches. Also take care of some McLarens. So if you've got a McLaren, you can always come to us for that. But yeah, that's what we do. So we're a Porsche and McLaren specialist. We're going to give your car a once over today.
Fantastic. Yeah. So as Matt said, the plan is today to find out everything wrong with my high mileage 993. So as you know, did a reveal of this in Wales. It was very nice. Thank you very much for the very positive comments. But I know that the engine leaks like a sieve. There's a few other odds and sods that I would like you to have a look at. And then just tell me what Nigel needs to be a golden boy for me for the rest of the year, really, because I really love this car, Matt. So we're going to do a walk around. How we're going to get started.
Exactly that. Well, look, we're going to start off with, you know, we're just going to make a report, you know, like almost like a pre-purchase inspection. We call it a post-purchase inspection.
Yep.
We check all the electrics inside, all the switch gear, look at the glass, look at the lights, you know, check the sort of exterior of the car. Then we're going to go up in there and we're going to have a look at everything underneath.
Fantastic.
Suspension, brakes, and then we'll get onto that engine. And we'll see, and we'll see what's going on. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed the engine won't fall off. Before we do all of that, Matt, first impressions, 203,000 miles. What do you reckon?
First impressions, looks great. It does, looks really straight. I mean, I've driven the car in, feels good. Clutch bite feels good. Fell into gear beautifully. Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I think you said maybe, has it got some cams?
It's got RS cams in it, yeah.
You can just hear that, little just burble slightly differently, but yeah, first impressions, I'm quietly confident that it's going to be pretty decent under there.
All right then, well, as Matt said, let's get into it and let's have a look at Nigel, my high mileage 993.
A little clipboard here with your job sheet.
Okay.
We'll find a pen, which is somewhere, and we're just going to have a little fiddle about now with a few bits, just to make sure, and we just check that everything's working.
Good
but
stuff.
At the end of the day, then once we compile a list, then we can turn that list into, you know, work out
a job sheet.
Where we need to go moving forward to get all those bits.
A job sheet with a big zero at the bottom.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, you never know.
You never know, yeah. So this does have an immobiliser on it.
It does have an immobiliser.
Is that standard fitment?
So it is a standard fitment. It's actually not made by Porsche. These immobilisers were made by a company called Hamilton Palmer. It's a sort of a factory install. It was installed when it was new.
Yep.
But it's made by an aftermarket company, so you get that little fob there.
Yeah. It's not given me any jip yet, which is good.
These are okay, and you can still buy the parts to fix them. You can buy the in fact you can buy the little receptacle. I don't think you can get these anymore, but they're reliable.
Good.
Do you want to check the lights for me?
I will do that for you.
There you go. So right, we've got side lights.
Yep.
2 dip beams.
Yep.
Has it got? It looks like it's got aftermarket headlamp bulbs in there. Maybe it's got.
It does.
HIDs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we can tell that.
And just smarten it up, you know. Oh, yeah, lovely.
Main beam.
Beautiful.
Front fogs. Has it got fogs, or has it got little side lights instead?
Just side lights.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's got air scoops at the front.
Yes.
Yeah. So the fogs have been taken away for air scoops instead.
Because race car.
So we got right.
Yep.
Left.
Yep.
Side lights. Brake lights.
Yep.
And reverse.
Yep. God, everything works. Why am I so broken?
You're old.
Oh yeah.
So we just have a little fiddle of all the buttons, check the electric mirrors, check the windows. There we go. There's the first thing for our report. The left electric mirror, no function.
It's a write-off. So Matt, this is what you would do if you were to take this in as a Part X or something and then want to sell it on to a new customer.
That. Or you know, we get some customers, they're looking to buy a car and they'll ask the dealership or the person to bring it to us for a PPI, pre-purchase inspection.
Yeah.
And then we do a similar thing. And to be fair, most, in fact, all services, as part of a service on a car, we will check everything.
Yeah.
We check everything,
nice.
you know, because that's part of our reports. So whether it's a minor service or a major service, we'll always go through the car and just check.
Look, sunroof. Do you know what? I've actually been too scared to open it. I haven't opened it.
Because you never know. They're pretty reliable on this, to be fair.
Good.
And that sounds all nice and quiet and smooth, so
nice.
that's good. I'm assuming you've had the rear spoiler up?
Oh yeah, gosh yeah. As soon as I park, it goes up. That does need to be a whale tail immediately though.
You know, it sounds very smooth. There's also a common issue with 993s when they get to an age. The little gearbox that lifts the spoiler up and down, the bearing in there can fail and they can make a horrible raunchy grinding sound as they come up and down, but yours sounds very quiet. So at some point,
there we go.
It's definitely had I would have said 200,000 miles, that's had a repair.
I mean, I have really looked after this car for the last 3 weeks that I've
There you go.
Rory?
You nearly slid down the grass into Taylor's car.
I did nearly do that, yes. Oh, there is one thing, Matt.
Yep.
There's a big exclamation mark there.
Yep, that's it.
That just came on when I was driving, and I was like, it should be fine.
Okay, now that exclamation, that symbol will illuminate when any of the other warning systems come on with the car. So if it's low on screen wash, low on fuel.
Oh, okay.
If you get
it could be as simple as screen wash.
Yeah. So if you've had your little orange screen wash
haven't
light
had that,
illuminated,
no.
well, we'll see. We'll start it up and we'll see. So at the moment it's not on. So it's come on with the It's coming on at the moment just with the handbrake.
Yeah.
So we obviously there's a little switch here which is common to fail, but that's working well. That's it. You can extinguish that light by pressing the button here with the exclamation on it. So if it's switched on as a result of you being low on fuel or low on screen wash, then you can switch it off by just hitting that button.
Right, okay.
And it disappears.
Otherwise, just duct tape over it, and then I'll never know it's illuminated.
Exactly that. That would always do the job.
Top tip from Renworks: if it comes on, just duct tape over it.
Exactly. That's what we got. We got an airbag light. We got a battery charge light. So the airbag light does come on and go back off, so that's good. Mm-hmm. But you can sometimes see, if you ever have an airbag problem, people remove the bulb sometimes to cheat, but it will then bring on the exclamation mark. So you wonder why it's come on, but that's there.
Yeah.
These are all working, so you've got like brake pads, brake fluid, four-wheel drive system, ABS. So they're all coming on and then they're going off again, which is good. So all those systems are working well.
So when I was driving it back from Wales, actually, from our first shoot, the low fuel light came on, and then that exclamation came on. I was like, holy shit, the car's about to explode. And I was like, maybe it's because of the low fuel.
That's exactly
And I filled up and it was fine.
And I say, if that's annoying you being on, you hit this button here and it switches it off, gets rid of it.
All right.
And so I've got one note, and I've got that your left electric mirror is not functioning, so it could be the switch.
Okay.
The little crossover switch. It might be that the wire into the mirror is playing up, might be the motor. Usually something quite simple, but nice.
And what do you think of the interior? Because I mentioned earlier that it was retrimmed a while ago, and we've got a nice new gear knob on there as well.
Yeah, exactly that.
But it looks good, doesn't it?
It looks good. So look, we could do with tucking this this little bit of leather back in around the side of the seat, which is fairly easy done. That's peeled away, so we can manipulate that back into place. That looks good in there.
I will it up. Yeah, I'm grubby. Yeah.
That's it.
So grubby. Yeah.
I mean, the red leather seat's brown.
Really?
I did, yeah. But at my age, I do shit myself quite a lot.
There you go.
Yeah,
especially in something like this. That's it. I mean, maybe as a future thing, you could switch these out for some nice bucket seats or some pole positions or something. There's always, another thing you can do, you can colour code these as well to the bodywork of the car, which we see quite often.
Halfords spray.
Exactly that.
And question, before we carry on, what's your favourite generation of 911?
Oh, it's a tricky one. I think I'm going to go 1973 for maybe a 2.8 RSR, or 2.7 RS. 227 RS lightweight would be good for me. But that's a really difficult question because I love all of them. So we'll have a quick peep under the back. Up on its own. Yeah, it does, which is good because you've got the little struts on there that are often weak and always common for falling down and that bashing me in the back of the head.
It does need a bit of help. In the mornings, it's quite floppy.
That's it. Once it's all warmed up, it stays up. But that's an easy fix because it's really common to see that dropping down and really annoying for us trying to do the top up the oil or service the car with that. And you see people with bits of like little bamboo battens in the car that they're using to prop them up and things. You think?
Oh yeah, people who use like silly props for their engine bays. It's just ridiculous. Who would do that?
It's been a difficult secret to keep because I am so excited. So, Alex, you haven't actually seen this car up in the air yet, have you?
No. Am I nervous? Do you know what? I don't think it... No, I'm not nervous. I think it'll be all right. I know that this car has been looked after very well. £4,000 has been spent on Nigel every year, on average.
Or it could just be a polished turd that looks good from the outside, but is actually shit.
Yeah, oh yeah. Imagine chassis legs and everything completely rusted out. Full of filler, probably, yeah. Fingers crossed. That's a good sign. The car hasn't fallen through.
That's it, that is a good sign. We'll have a quick poke around up the top here. So we've maybe got, it's a power steering pressure pipe there.
Oh yeah.
And just on that little swage, it's just getting a little bit sticky.
Bit weepy.
A little bit weepy, so that's worth keeping an eye on. Mm-hmm. As the upper cam cover looks quite dry, but it is a little bit oily down there, so that could be basically anything that sort of leaks around the sides of the engine will usually land on top of the heat exchangers.
Yeah.
And then will create smoke in the cabin.
Yeah.
And smoke out of the arches.
Yeah.
So
it is quite unpleasant when you give it a bit of a ragging and then you pull up to some traffic lights and it just stinks. And when I actually bought it from another guy called Matt, we went on a test drive. parked it up on his driveway,
Yeah.
and then switched off the engine, and then the engine bay just went
Oh yeah.
with smoke, and he was like, oh, typical. And then I got money off.
There you go, exactly that. And it might not be anything too bad.
Yeah.
We'll find out when we look underneath. It's very dry on this side, upper cam cover, that's all looking good. But the belts have been, look like they've been replaced at some point with genuine belts as well, which is really good to see. Because they always fit slightly better. Deep down the back, so we've got our oil pressure sender and a little breather housing on the top of the engine. It's absolutely bone dry down the back there.
Fantastic.
Which is good to see. This is called the engine bay sound deadening pad. It's just a foam pad that absorbs some of the noise, and that's a bit manky. That soaks up the sound from the engine and stops you hearing it in the cabin.
Yeah.
But that's a bit manky, so you have to lower the engine down and scrape off all the old glue and get that out of the way, and you can pop a new one in there. It just tidies things up. But nothing jumps out under there as being too scary.
So these engines, for robustness and reliability, what would you reckon?
They're unbelievable. They can be pouring out oil, burning oil, you smoke it, and they can be in the worst possible state, but they will still keep on running.
Good.
And they just don't don't let go.
So what I'm hearing here, Rory, is that I don't really need to keep up with maintenance. No, is that not? No, okay. It's just the way I'm interpreting things here, isn't it? Before we take a look underneath, a reminder from me that if you want to buy yourself a used car, van or motorbike, make sure you run a car vertical report on it first to ensure it's not been crashed, clocked or stolen. If we take a look at Miles, my high mileage hero, I've run a car vertical report, and as you can see, we've got green ticks for odometer, finance and damage. It tells me that this car does not have a shady past, and as you've already noticed, new wheels and BC Racing coilovers going on miles soon. All right. And now for an example of a car vertical report that would make me run a mile. Check out this little Lotus here, beautiful little car. We've got green ticks for odometer and finance, but an amber warning for damage. And oh dear, you can see when you open up the pictures, front end damage sustained, and this all looks like fiberglass, so it looks like a very, very expensive repair. So if this car were to be all repaired and fixed up and then put on for sale, you know that it's got a very shady past indeed. So again, do yourselves a favor, do not get stung when buying a used car, van or motorbike. Run a car vertical report on it first. What's more, you will get 10% off using the code Autoalex. Right then, let's take a look underneath Nigel.
That feels pretty solid. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice to see as well, good brand tyres. Although, they're getting there, aren't they?
They really are.
Your tyres there. They're wearing quite evenly. I mean, we'll have a little check
What
soon.
year have we got on here then?
So it's 47 week of 2021.
Okay.
So
I've had worse.
Exactly that.
You don't usually see a car like this with a 2021 tyre wear that much.
That much, yeah. Maybe he bought them as part ones.
Or maybe he's done a lot of wheel spinning.
Maybe. So brake pads are looking good. Brake discs, there's minimal wear. We'll check the insides soon, but they look very good.
I think you're quite impressed so far, aren't you, Matt?
So far, I mean, it's had the calipers painted. Blacks are C2s, silvers are C4s, and reds would be on your turbo models and your Lera things. So the colour of the caliper is for different models. So someone's painted the calipers, which is nice. I quite like.
They've not done a bad job.
They've done a lovely job.
I think I've done all right, Rory.
Can hear a little bit of binding there. That sounds like the paint's flaking off the brake disc backing plate. So you've got a metal plate behind the brake disc, and the sort of you can hear it there. That's a little bit rusty behind there. Discs have got a tiny little lip on the edge. We can get the little measuring tool out to measure those, but there's life in the brake pads. They're decent. And these are 2017. 27th week of 2017.
Okay.
So a bit older on the front.
A lot of wheels.
Yeah, all the wheel spins.
So they're 6-7 years old. So we say about 6 years on a tyre really until the compound starts to it's no longer working as it should. So probably not far off a set of fronts.
The rear doesn't feel particularly good, so I'm just going to swap all tyres out.
And these are an upgrade as well. So whether this was done when it was new, if it was an ex-demo car or something, but these would usually be a fog light lens. So they're a fog light and a side light in one, but they've been replaced with air scoops.
Speaking of, I've been offered by a man on Instagram a front bumper from a turbo model, free of charge.
Right. So would it fit?
Either way, I'm having it because it can go on the wall otherwise.
Yeah, exactly that. That's it. So we have a look at the sort of the shock absorbers and the springs. You've got your top mounts. They look really good. From looking at this blue bellows on here, that tells me that these are Bilstein shocks. So I would assume that there's going to be something in the history that it's had certainly the fronts. We'll have a look at the rear soon, but it's had the fronts replaced, and these springs have probably been done at the same time because they're looking really clean and tidy. Right, so we've got a bit of play here.
Oh yeah.
See that?
Okay, yeah, that's
and
not good.
I can just feel that, and it's just a little sort of thump and a thump.
Yeah.
Probably the rear control arm. You'll feel it. You don't have to be
Well, I
too.
can
You don't
see
have to
it,
be too hard. And and I'm just gonna have a good look underneath and see whether that's a little bit of lower ball joint. Right, that is bottom ball joint. Play in the lower ball joint on the lower arm. So we'll make a note of that.
So that's the first kind of issue that we found, except for the electric mirror that isn't mirroring.
Yeah, exactly that. We've got the power steering pipe that's
power
got a little bit of
steering,
misting, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very minor. But yeah, that's the first thing we've actually found, and it's not excessive. I mean, we'll have a look underneath. We'll see if the little dust cover is in good condition, but that's something you need to take care of.
Yeah.
And that's a really good excuse to start replacing suspension arms and then get it on the wheel alignment.
Oh, it's going to need a full restoration.
And get it properly set up. Exactly.
And I'll need the ducktail spoiler as well, just to keep everything
And maybe
planted.
some wheels. Well, I think we need to talk wheels, don't we?
We do need to talk wheels.
Well, I think we might start at the front first and we'll work our way back, Joey, just for a bit more suspense. There we go. So, I'm going to grab...
Oh, it's very smooth under here.
Look, someone's fitted this lovely aftermarket protector bar to save the... Maybe they had a low driveway, you know, a steep driveway, or was parking in an underground car park or something and was grounding out the bottom. So that's an aftermarket part. On the suspension side of things, obviously we've spotted that it's had some Bilstein dampers, and there's no leaks. The springs are decent. They're in good order. We usually check these lower wishbones, and it's quite common to see that the bushes, the front bush and the rear bush, that there's play, and they're quite loose and quite perish. But it's had they're a bit grubby now, but it's had a set of aftermarket bushes put in, which we recommend actually. So that really stiffens up the front end and really tightens it up. So really good to see. So that's been taken care of. You've got, obviously it's four-wheel drive, so you've got your drive shafts, you've got your CV boots. Yeah. They're in good order, from what we can see.
Do you know, the more I actually drive this, the more I own it, the more I actually like the fact that it is a C4.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the weather this time of year.
Exactly,
this time of year with all the, I mean, they're so usable.
I definitely would have died.
So far, it does look like this has been owned by a proper enthusiast.
It's had all the right bits done. And this is what I was saying to you about, you know, sometimes you're better off with one that's done 200,000 miles, that's had all the bits done, than one that's done 130,000 miles, 150,000 miles, that needs all the bits. So it looks like someone spent the money over the years.
Fantastic.
We haven't got to the engine yet. But yeah, suspension-wise, it's...
So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Oh, look, we've got a split.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It was going so well.
There you go. So this is your steering rack. This is your track rod end.
Yep.
And it's got a split boot. So that's letting all the grease out and all the dirt in. So we'll note that down. It's going to need a new track rod end.
And for stuff like track rod ends and stuff, would you go to Euros for that, or would you always buy from Porsche?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there are various different brands out there to be had. So you always want to track down the best possible brand. So you could buy that from Euros, and you're going to get exactly the same product in the box as what you would buy.
I was
from
hoping
Porsche.
you'd say that.
Rear anti-roll bar. It's got a split boot on the roll bar drop link.
This looks like it could be worth upgrading, right? Rear anti-roll bar.
Yeah, so it's quite
skinny,
a bit skinny. So yeah, there's lots of great products out there for upgrading roll bars and suspension. But yeah, look, you've got your Bilstein. There you go. Bilstein rear dampers. Your little Bilstein sticker. All right, let's get a screwdriver. Let's get this off and have a little look underneath.
It's not a rough screwdriver, don't worry. I think. Taylor's not here.
Oh look, we've got some.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
I've seen worse.
Okay. So we have oil leaking here, here, and here.
Right, so we check firstly the cam covers, which are really common to see. This side's it's got a little tiny sweat, but it's pretty dry. Yeah. That lower cam cover's also quite dry. I was really hoping, to be fair, that we would see that these are wet, because they're they're fairly easy to deal with. These are your timing chain covers. So basically, sitting in here, you've got the two banks of the engine. You've got a camshaft here and a camshaft there, and inside there's your timing chain to drive the camshafts. But it looks like the timing chain cover is leaking. We also call them the chest seals. There's little rubbers and rubber seals in there, so it will be a case of probably resealing up these chain covers. We've also got what we call through bolts on these engines. So it's the bolts effectively that hold the the whole two halves of the engine together. Unfortunately, they've got seals on the end that can fail, and you can't change those seals without a full strip down and rebuild of the engine. So what I would say that we want to hope it's just the chain covers.
It's just the chain covers, yeah.
To be honest, it's not unusual to see, 964s and 993s with some oil leakage.
Yeah.
You see, it's pulled up in the tray, and then it's ended up on the. You see, it's running off this little heat shield here, which is dripping onto the heat exchangers.
Yeah.
It only takes 1 or 2 little drops on there to
Yeah.
create a lot of smoke. I think the process here would be to clean this down, run it up, and hopefully we just see it starting to appear from obviously it's just made a bit of a mess really. So it's on the heat exchangers. Some of it's probably blown up, some of it, just from driving the car. But hopefully we can just change the chain covers.
Or we just pop the engine cover back up and just pretend it's not there. So you're still impressed?
I'm still impressed. And I mean, it's not you can drive it like this, can't you? Yeah, you get a little bit of smoke. It's not a fire hazard. It's not enough to stop you enjoying the car.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly that.
Not that bad. We're all right.
So, if you didn't know the mileage of this car, would you say it looks like a 200,000?
No, I wouldn't. It's clearly had lots of the wear and tear items have been replaced. It could be 100,000 miles, I suppose.
Really?
After that. Yeah, looking at the condition of all the suspension components and everything,
Yeah.
because they've been
Good.
But they age well, don't they?
Yeah.
They can do the miles. Properly built cars. They're so solid.
So what Matt's going to do now, he's going to go away and have a little look at 993 values and then come back to me and price this car up. What you think this is worth on the open market today. And then we'll do a deal.
Exactly that.
And the price of all the work it needs to.
No, we won't. Just. But we are very good friends. We go back to school days.
That's it.
You
Back
probably
to
won't
about
remember
2 hours ago.
But we went to Hobbit school together, actually.
Very
We're both from Middle Earth.
Here we are. That's it.
If you are wondering, Matt is 5'11". I'm about 6'1".
That's it.
Yeah. People will ask. They'll be like, "Oh my God, he's taller than someone." So yeah.
What we're going to do, we're going to bring up some of the exploded diagrams of the parts that I think would fix your oil leaks on your engine. So we're going to engine. So here's our exploded diagram. So these are the timing chain cases that we were talking about. That gasket is leaking, so we're going to replace that. We'll replace the little rubber O-ring seals and all the bolts, and we're going to change the little gasket for the chain tensioner, for the little O-rings and bits and pieces on the front.
That's a 2-day job.
It is a big job.
Yeah.
It is a big job purely to gain the access. So you've got to get to do it with the engine in the car, we're going to have to take the back bumper off, we're going to get the exhaust system off, all the nuts and bolts are a bit rusty on that. It's an air conditioning car as well, which doesn't help because we've got a big bracket in the way for the air conditioning pump.
So what you're saying is that this is not going to be cheap.
It won't be a cheap job. It won't be a cheap job. So if it's...
Have we got a ballpark figure?
Well, look, if we
he's
said,
getting a calculator. It's so expensive. And then what was it? £500 an hour. You said earlier.
We're £999 an hour to YouTubers because obviously you're also rich and wealthy. You've got a grand's worth of labour, haven't you?
No.
All day long. You probably have a grand in labour and a few £100 in parts plus a bit of VAT.
Yeah.
And that's just to do the oil. That's not.
That would be just to do the oil leaks. Yeah, I would say.
What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take the car away. I'm going to have to go to Quick Fit as well and get a second opinion on this.
Why don't you take it to Porsche main dealer and get their opinion?
I'm stupid, but not that stupid.
Yeah, there you go.
So why don't Rory, you and I, go back to the car? We'll leave Matt for a few minutes. He's going to go on the internet and have a look at some values.
I'm going to crunch some numbers.
And then let me know what you think the value of that car is.
But I don't know what you paid for the car. You haven't told me, and you won't tell me. So I
won't tell you
until I've told you what I think it's worth. And
okay.
Then hopefully.
And then I'll probably cry.
Yeah. No, maybe not.
Okay, so yeah, Matt's obviously given Nigel the full once over. We've been in the office, we've priced everything up. You reckon what, £2,000-ish to get everything tipped off?
There and thereabouts, yeah.
And then you've gone away on the internet and you've had a look at some values. What do you think in today's market, given the condition, the mileage, and what would you kind of value Nigel at?
I mean, it's in really good condition. Being 200,000 miles, there's not actually many of them out there with this mileage on to really compare them to. I've seen lower mileage ones up there at 75s and 70s and 65s, but I mean, maybe what, 50 grand, 55, something like that? 50-ish.
Okay. Yeah, 50-ish.
Yeah, that's yeah.
If I told you that I paid 40 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's good.
Good deal.
I think
Good
that's
deal.
I think that's a good deal.
Okay.
And you think with this potential spend that we think we've got to spend on it, I think you're going to do all right there.
So spending 2 grand, so I'll be up to 42.
Yeah.
And then what you reckon? Still 50 to 55.
Well, I
roughly?
think so. I mean, look, it's a really straight car. You said it's got a great big stack of history.
It does, yeah.
It's probably in better condition than some of the cars we see at far less miles.
Yep.
It's really tidy under
And
there.
and to reiterate as well, you think that this car, had you not known the mileage, you would have guessed about 100k?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it'd done 200,000 miles. Condition of the interior, condition of the underneath.
Good.
The bodywork, it's been well looked after.
Yeah,
So it doesn't appear to be a 200,000 mile car.
So I've done
Exactly
a thing, Rory. I've not f***ed it up for once.
Yeah, I think you've done good.
Oh, thank you.
Well
I'm
done.
going to shake
well
your
done
hand.
for that.
Oh, yeah,
well
look
done.
at that. Look
That's
at that. So, yeah, all that's left to say is thank you very much, Matt,
You're
for
very
your time.
welcome. Yeah, it's lovely to have you here. And
Good stuff. If you've got a Porsche or a McLaren and you want servicing or repairs or anything like that, come to Renworks because, yeah, you're a very, very knowledgeable man.
That's it.
And
Thanks for that.
we need to talk like getting the car booked in with you and then getting Nigel tip top.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for now, thank you very much, Matt, for your
Pleasure.
time. Really,
Pleasure.
really pretty. We're going to do this. Let's do
Pleasure.
a hug. Oh, there we go. Thank you very
Pleasure.
much, Matt. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week with another video. But for now, let's go chat wheels, all right?
Cool.
And let's go
Let's
chat
do it.
price. I'm thinking like 0% interest rate on
Yeah,
£0.
of course.
You know,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
let's talk, yeah.